Hello, friends. It's another 11:11. Hello, everybody. So glad. Hello, hello, hello. I can all I can ever think is when I'm coming in the morning is this on 11:11 is the whole Lionel Richie thing. Hello, is it me you're looking for? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why, but it's hello. So I am. It is another 11:11. I am so glad that you're finding your way here. Good morning, Vicky. Hope things in DC are okay and that you are well. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you're here. How are you, everyone? How are you, John? Good morning to you. I imagine it is frosty up there. It actually got a little warmer this morning. It seems like my thermometer was telling me it was cold, but it felt warmer. It's that post um, Groundhog Day feel where you just that there's for the first time since winter started, there's this warmth in the sun. Like the sun just doesn't have light, but it actually has warmth to it. And yes, I know there's you gotta if you're I think you got to be a certain age to get the Lionel Richie vibe. Fun fact about Lionel Richie is that if peace were ever to come to the Middle East, it would come through Lionel Richie. Like he is huge. Like you cannot go anywhere in Iraq and you will not, and you'll hear. I mean, you'll hear traditional music everywhere, but you'll hear Lionel Richie. Like he is a demigod of music there, and like he could be the great peacemaker for the Middle East if he ever chose to take up the cause. So anyway, fun little Lionel Richie fact for you this morning. A little warmer, 14 on our walk this morning. Okay, well, not quite as warm. Not quite what we got going here. So yeah, it is. That's some proper cold. Good morning, Sherry. Glad you're with us. Saw the Commodores and nice, nice. So who's better, like Lionel Richie or the Commodores? Like I think you're probably gonna go with the Commodores, don't you? Like, but man, Lionel's awful good, like all on his own. No, I do not have like Lionel Richie CDs or Lionel Richie playlist. If I'm sorry to disappoint you. Wow, we are on Lionel Richie this morning. Maybe I should cut back on the coffee. All right. Hey, Irene. Good morning to you. I'm glad you're here. I hope things are well. That is, oh. Well, I'm glad to hear she's working. That's good. Like, I know that's been a point of anxiety, so it's nice and I'm glad she's out there doing things, and hopefully Jamie will catch us on the flip side. But yes, well, we miss her here as well. That is for sure. Love both. Yeah, exactly. Comparisons are odious. You're right. Like that's why are we why does it have to be one or the other? Very nice. Good morning. Good morning. I see some few more people hopping in. We'll give it another minute and we will get going this morning. I am. Good morning, Priscilla. Glad you're here. I hope that Ohio is treating you well and that it's not too bitter cold there either. So, sailboats this morning. Oh, some some of the last competitors are coming in the sailing race that I follow, the Vendée Globe, and it's a great sadness to me to see it end. I mean, it's great. It's been the single most spectacular race since it started in the 90s, I think, outside of some of the drama of people people literally losing their lives in years past. But man, it's been so great, and it's going to be a loss for me to kind of say goodbye to those skippers that have become friends with me, and as I kind of check in on them. So it's been a ride. So yeah, so I have my sailing mug this morning to remember the Vendée Globe sailors. Good morning, Sandra. Great to see you here. Vicky, body's taking a beating. Ankle is. Well, I did 3 hours of shopping. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we'll keep you in our prayers, Vicky, for sure. For sure. You are carrying a great load, like helping out your sister and being away and all of that. So we remember you today in this, and we'll keep you in our prayers. Damon Rice, everybody. So nice to see Damon here. Great. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here today. Damon is a Damon is a Damon and I have actually walked a lot of the same ground. When he actually lived in Warren, Maine for a while, and was a fisherman out of Rockland, and should find his way here. And Fall River is such a gift. So glad he's here. So welcome, Damon. All right, friends, let's get going today. It's a lot tougher than I thought. It is. It is. Man, this is where to carry anything in these days is, just to carry ourselves is a load. Just to carry our own heads, carry our own hearts. That's alone is a bit of burden, and to carry other people's as we're called to is real work. So you're carrying a great load, and you're not in it alone. We're with you. There's all these people, everybody here. We will say prayers for you today. All these names, we will hold you up. So, so great, David. That's awesome. First time here. First time caller, long time listener. That's awesome. So glad you're here, brother. All right. That's always, so it is another 11. Boy, I've been chatty already. We were already into it and we haven't even started. So, it is the 11th day of February on Thursday, another 11/11. And so I am so glad that you're here, so glad that you're a part of this journey. If you're new to this journey, welcome. If you've been journeying with us since last March, then you are a gift and encouragement to me, and you're a gift and encouragement to everybody else that's a part of this. Whether you're a commenter over here on my little thing on my left, or whether you're somebody who simply is a part of this and maybe have dropped us a note and to say that it matters, or whether you are just journeying with us in a silent way, whatever your connection to this place, we are so grateful you're here, because this time of being able to gather without gathering, to be without being, to have some time with us, with each other, is invaluable, at least to me. And I think it is what we are called to do as church. So I'm so glad you're here. Today we want to talk about rebels and kings. Because this weekend is Valentine's Day. Now, when I was a kid, growing up in Maine and in Woolwich Central School, Valentines were a big deal. It wasn't everybody didn't get a Valentine, and Valentine, but I think there were probably teachers in the background that were kind of watching who got Valentines for, make sure everybody got some and that there was some love spread around. But it was really you got to kind of oh, I like you, or I like, there was this way of selecting, this demonstration of affection. And, it was, it was so profoundly innocent. It was beyond anything, but it was this way of pushing that little note and putting it in your little envelope, and maybe it was, a little Star Wars Valentine or something, but it was this way of demonstrating one's affection for another. And I think back to that as this, and then I think to the true story of Valentine. And so I want to tell you the story of Saint Valentine today, because I think there's so much in it for our day, because it is a story of rebels and kings. So Saint Valentine died in the year 270. We don't know when he was born, but he died in the year 270. He was a doctor who became a minister. He became a priest, and he became known by the people around him because he was defying the emperor's orders. Emperor Claudius II, wanted to go to war, as all emperors do, because that's what empire does: is want to go beat somebody up for their stuff and their allegiance. So he wanted to go to war. Now, but the problem was is if a young man got married, he was actually not necessarily eligible or didn't want to go. That he wanted to stay home with his wife, and so he outlawed marriage as a way of being able to boost eligible recruits in for the army. Valentine began to marry uh, couples in secret. And as he married these couples in secret, he would all that would kind of one way exclude them from being able to go to war, but it would also this great declaration of love and in defense of it. And now Emperor Claudius and his folks got word of this, and they put him in jail. Now, as he became in jail, and this is one of the things I love about this, and you see this again and again and again with the early saints of the church, and even later saints of the church, like of the folks who are working out, and you don't have to be a saint to do this. This is not the point, but the people who are working out their faith right where they are, working out their declaration of their love of Christ right where they are, is that he became a friend of his jailer. Like he began to minister to his jailer. Like that the guy Emperor Claudius put him in jail, and they became and he and his jailer Asterius became friends. And as they became friends, they began to realize the wisdom of Valentine, and said Valentine was this great teacher. And so Asterius brought his daughter actually into the jail. If you can imagine a Roman jail, he brought his daughter in for tutoring and help with her lessons because she was blind. And so she needed somebody to read to her and all this, and Valentine was learned enough and able enough to be able to help, and so became friends with Julia as well. And this got back to Claudius, and so Claudius actually visits Valentine and actually ends up liking Valentine, and says, "Look, let's forget about all this nonsense. You go, I'll let you out of jail. I'll let you, I'll let you go. Just renounce your Christian faith. Just you don't even have to, like, a lot of people say, well, you have to go worship the Roman gods. But even that was like, just stop insisting on this Jesus thing. Just let it go, and we'll be good. Like, we'll be good. You can go, you can get out of jail. You can go do your thing." And Valentine said he refused to leave his faith. And not only did he refuse to leave his faith, but he invited Emperor Claudius to place his trust in Christ. This enraged Claudius. He was not a person accustomed to being refused, and he sentenced Valentine to die. And so just before Valentine is killed, and this is where we get our tradition of sending little notes of why 40 years ago, wrote a little note on a little, Chewbacca thing that said, "I love you," or, "I like you," or whatever it said, that when got put in somebody's little cubby hole in there, during recess. The reason I did that 100 years later was because Valentine, just before his death, wrote a little note to Julia, and he signed it, "From your Valentine." And that's where we get our tradition of the Valentine. So so we're coming up to Valentine's Day. We're actually in the church. We're going to do a renewal of vows for couples, so that we'll have the opportunity to have. And so when we encourage people to either both stay and watch the renewal of vows, because I think it's important to bear witness, or to participate with their partner. But why is this story, I think, matter today? And I think it is this incredible notion of Jesus the Christ as both rebel and king. I'm a big fan of Brian Francis Culkin. He's a modern thinker. He writes a lot, but and he likes Chesterton a lot, and so he's quoting Chesterton. So I want to read you a little bit of this, because G.K. Chesterton is probably one of the greatest minds to come out of the 19th century into the 20th century on Christian thought, and he puts it this way. He says, and he calls Christianity terribly revolutionary. And he says it this way: this is why Christianity is terribly revolutionary. That a good man may have his back to the wall is no more than we knew already. Valentine was a good man, and he had his back to the wall. There's nothing exciting or new about that. But that God would have his back to the wall is a boast for all insurgents everywhere and forever. Christianity is the only religion on earth that has felt omnipotence has made God incomplete. I'm going to say that again. Felt omnipotence has made God incomplete. Christianity alone has felt that God, to be holy God, must have been a rebel as well as a king. When Jesus is heading into Jerusalem, he rides on a donkey. And the scripture is this: it's the 5th verse of the 21st chapter of Matthew. Tell the daughter of Zion, look, your king is coming to you, humble, mounted on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey, on the lowest of places. And what we know is later that week, he would go on to have a sign over the top of the cross to which he would be crucified on that would say, Eius Nazarenus Rex Laudiorum. Jesus the Nazarene, King of the Jews. Jesus, both king and rebel. And us too, as both king and rebel. Because this is what Culkin says. And I know I'm being a little heady here, but stay with me, because it's worth the price of admission. That, in other words, Chesterton, the Christian God, is not all-powerful and omnipotent being. He is in a way like us too. He is fractured from within. He is split at the core. The paradox is narratively disclosed in the idea that the all-powerful creator of the universe and an impoverished Palestinian refugee child born in the outskirts of the Roman Empire are actually one and the same. That Jesus is both king and rebel. The story of St. Valentine brings us to this notion that the great rebellion, the great death to the world, as the Orthodox are wont to say it, is that we might declare for love again and again and again. And that in that, we invite the great king and rebel to be a participant in our rebellion against the forces of empire. Now, when I say forces of empire, I'm not just meaning I'm not just talking about some guy with a big crown on his head. I'm talking about all of the desires, all of the needs, all of the ways that we seek to control another person. The impulse of empire is deep within us. It's not just this idea of out there someplace. The empire, we've got empire inside of ourselves. Any moment we're trying to control the world around us with some great and grand scheme, with some violence of authority, we launched ourselves an empire. the great King and the great rebel in Jesus the Christ. And it beautifully illustrated in this following that's kind of this following of Valentine that is coming up this weekend. So I invite you to invite in the Great Rebellion. Invite in the Declaration from Love. And send your notes. Send your declarations of love into the world. And see what happens. Because the thing about that note is that the story of Valentine is that not only did he write Julia a note and sign it from your Valentine, but when the note arrived, if you remember, Julia was blind. And when the note arrived, she opened the note and miraculously was able to see, because so that she could read the great and grand words and the beautiful goodbye and farewell of Valentine with her own eyes. Friends, may we see with our own eyes the place of rebellion in this world. May we see the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords made manifest in our own letting go of our empire instinct and lifting up our own rebellion. That which got Valentine killed, but has elevated him to have a little kid from Maine 1,800 years after his death to remember to send a little note and put it in the little cubby during recess for somebody he had a little affection for. You see, friends, that's the power of the great rebellion of Christ. That's the power of the great rebellion of Jesus. That's the power of what it is to bloom where we are planted, whether it may be a jail cell or a world that is gone mad in all of its ministrations with the declaration of what is true and what is not. My invitation for you today, friends, and my invitation for you on this Valentine's coming weekend is that we might all declare our little notes to the world from your Valentine. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. I hope you find some joy in this, and you find some goodness. We'll be worshiping on Sunday at 10 o'clock. I hope you'll be with us. We are continuing to work through the virtues, and so we are on to the second to last virtue, the second theological virtue of hope. And so we'll be talking about hope on Sunday, and then immediately afterwards we'll be having a opportunity to have a little vow renewal with our couples, and we'll be having a part of all of that. And I hope you'll join us. And we'll be back with 11:11 next Tuesday. I can't wait to see all of your little digital faces again. So I am so glad that we might journey together in this time. Maria, thanks for being with us this morning. Damon, so glad you're here. Such a surrender to the King of Kings. There it is, brother. There it is. Got my first COVID vaccine yesterday. Oh, very nice. All right. Well, I will keep you in my prayers, Donna. Hope it all goes smoothly. Vicky, happy Valentine's. Happy Valentine's, everybody. Happy Valentine's. Peace and grace.